Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is LuckyBunz, and in today's Pokemon Go video, I'm going to be running through some battles in Pokemon Go Battle League Season 8. So lately I've been getting a ton of comments asking what team I've been using for Season 8, and I've actually been doing pretty well. I'm currently around the 2100 ELO range, which isn't the worst place to be, it's not the best place to be, but I'm making it work, and the team that I've essentially been using is Talonflame, Shadow Swampert, and Alolan Ninetales. Given the meta changes, Charmers have definitely not been the most common Pokemon to use, but that also means that some people are using Dark types because they feel like Charmers are just not going to be in the meta currently due to the Poison type shakeup. So it's definitely been a weird place, but overall I feel like this team has definitely been really consistent for me. I have a pretty solid win rate above 50%, so I definitely cannot complain in that department. But yeah, overall we had a pretty good winning streak the other day on our way to rank 20, which did actually go over my ELO range initially. And of course, as always, if you guys do end up enjoying this video, if you do find it helpful and informative, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button down below. These Go Battle League videos don't tend to get a lot of interaction, so again, it really does go a long way when it comes down to the YouTube algorithm, specifically on these videos. And also, I don't upload them that often, so, I know for those of you that always ask me to upload more battle videos, I really try to only upload them when I have good content to upload. But I actually do have one more thing to mention. This is going to be a big announcement. Niantic actually reverted the Stardust rewards per set to the Season 7 rewards. So maybe some of you guys didn't watch my previous video. Niantic actually nerfed the rewards by 50% for Season 8. And this essentially outraged the Pokemon Go battlers community. So big shout out to Zionic, because I don't think that Niantic would have reverted these changes as fast as they did if it wasn't for him making a video and really just hitting home with constructive criticism. So hopefully I can jog my memory here a little bit. We're going to be going through the battles at 1.5 times speed, so bear with me here. They might be a little bit faster paced than you guys are used to when I do my live commentary. So first up we have Shadow Nidoqueen. This is going to be one of the biggest meta changers, and what I do real quick there is I hit one fast move on Talonflame, and then I swap into the Shadow Swampert. This could have been a bad move, honestly. I kind of expected them to swap a little bit faster there, but they stuck it out with the Nidoqueen. Most likely going for the Poison Fang right there, just to lower my defense, then swap into something else, which is exactly what they did with the Scrafty. We're still sticking out with Swampert, of course, because we have no choice, we're locked in. But we're still throwing those Hydro Cannons, trying to make it work here, trying to make it work. So they go ahead and throw a Power-Up Punch. At this point, I actually lag out a little bit, which was a little bit unfortunate, but I don't think I would have gotten to the Hydro Cannon anyways. Now at this point I had to make the decision, do I want to come back in with the Alolan Ninetales or do I want to come back in with the Talonflame? If I come back in with the Alolan Ninetales, there is a good chance they're going to come back in with the Nidoqueen and just completely destroy me. But they also don't have any shields, and Ice does super effective damage on Nidoqueen. So anyways, they came back in with the Galarian Stunfisk, which is perfect because I can definitely take advantage of the situation now. So again, throwing that Flame Charge against Galarian Stunfisk there. We're very comfortable to use up our last shield here. And I do expect them to come in with the Shadow Nidoqueen any second now. There it is. So of course, we try to go for the Brave Bird. Unfortunately, we could not get through it in time. They're going to throw a Poison Fang. There it is. Now we can throw that Brave Bird. Now again, guys, in this situation, I feel like it would have been better if they had stuck it out with Galarian Stunfisk instead of swapping into the Nidoqueen. I feel like they probably could have taken out my Talonflame and then just taken out my Alolan Ninetales, but they went for the swap instead. We had basically enough energy to get through to the Weather Ball, and yeah, things worked out. Things worked out there. Again, the Shadow Nidoqueen lead is definitely one of the tougher Pokemon to deal with. It is one of the best Pokemon that got buffed when it came down to Season 8. So yeah, definitely happy that we were able to get through that matchup. Once again, when I kind of went for that swap with the Shadow Swampert, it really could have gone either way. Anyways, moving on over to our next matchup here, we have a Defense Deoxys. So in this matchup, I generally like to just stick it out with Talonflame, don't really need to swap or anything like that. Now, I should have counted the moves. I should have paid attention and I should have counted the moves because that was easily a Psycho Boost, which I definitely could have avoided shielding, but I'm also okay that I didn't. So now they went for the swap into Umbreon. So what I do here is I actually farm up a little bit of energy, get to another Flame Charge, and then swap into Alolan Ninetales. The reason why I did that is because I could take advantage of the fact that Alolan Ninetales is going to be able to tank Umbreon's hits really, really well. So I'm not throwing any charge moves here, I'm not throwing the Weather Ball, I'm just going to farm down with Charm on Alolan Ninetales. Now again, cutting it really close, I kind of figured they were going to get to that foul play, and I just took a gamble here. This could have gone bad. They could have KO'd my Alolan Ninetales, which means I wouldn't have been able to use those Weather Balls against the next Pokemon, which ended up being Skarmory, and again, could have definitely complicated things. I kind of risked it there and it worked out. We could not get to that second Weather Ball though, unfortunately, but what we had to do here, we could decide to come back in with Talonflame, or come back in with the Shadow Swampert. I came back in with the Shadow Swampert, figured that was a better play. Just gonna go for the Hydro Cannons here. Again, we do have that Flame Charge ready on Talonflame. So now we come back in, and I know that they have a Brave Bird ready. I counted the moves, and I knew that they had a Brave Bird ready. So of course we had to shield that. They do have 2 shields left. They have 2 shields left, but we're gonna be able to get to 2 Flame Charges with our Talonflame right now. They don't have enough energy gain on their Defense Deoxys. They essentially farmed up to a Psycho Boost through it and then swapped, so we're definitely comfortable at this point. And then against Swampert, we're also gonna be okay. So I kind of figured at that point they had enough for a Rock Slide, but I'm not sure why they didn't throw it essentially. So again, it always feels great to actually beat a prior Season 7 Legend, just because I wasn't able to hit it myself, so yeah, just always kind of a little bit of an ego boost there. Moving on over to our third match of the set, let's see what we got here. So we have a Galarian Stunfisk. Now very specific for this lead matchup, you want to throw 2 Flame Charges and then immediately swap into the Swampert. Definitely the move every single time. You want to tank that Rock Slide every single time, guys. You always want to try and catch it. Of course, you're going to probably get hard countered like I did here with the Shadow Shiftry, but that's totally okay. Sticking out with Talonflame is going to be a losing matchup for you. Sorry, not a Shadow Shiftry. I got confused with my own Shadow. Regular Shiftry there, but either way, we were able to get to 2 Hydro Cannons, which is fantastic. Had that actually been a Shadow Shiftry, that would not have happened. So now we have the decision to come back in with Talonflame or Alolan Ninetales. I decided to go with Alolan Ninetales here because I figured I could just charm it down. They're most likely going to come back in with the Galarian Stunfisk, but we are sitting pretty comfortably right now with 2 shields. So I do feel pretty good. And they actually came back in with the Talonflame. Now right here, I feel like they made a mistake because had they maybe just stuck it out with their Talonflame, it probably would have worked out better for them. See, now in this situation, I'm really good to just farm up. I have 2 shields going into the rest of this matchup, and again, they only have their Talonflame. Try to go for the Brave Bird, but I'm actually kind of happy I went for the Flame Charge instead, or at least I locked into the Flame Charge there because I think it worked out to my benefit. Now they go for the Brave Bird. They went for the kill there, assuming I probably would not shield that. You know, sometimes you just gotta take the gamble when it comes down to Talonflame. Could really be either or. Now because they went for the Brave Bird though, I swapped into Alolan Ninetales. Their defense was drastically reduced and I knew I could just farm down, which at that point, they went ahead and conceded. So again, you know, sometimes these go one way, sometimes they go the other way. Moving on to our next matchup here, we have a Galvantula lead. So in this situation, Talonflame takes super effective damage from Galvantula. Galvantula takes super effective damage from Talonflame. And they're gonna get to their charge move first. And depending on if they throw a lunge or discharge, this is how I decide if I want to throw either 1 or 2 flame charges. So of course the first flame charge is definitely a guarantee that's going to go through. If they ended up throwing a discharge, I would actually just farm down instead of throwing that second flame charge. But because they actually went ahead and threw a lunge instead, I wanted to get that additional boost. And then they come in with a Shadow Swampert, and so I actually end up catching the Hydro Cannon perfectly with my Alolan Ninetales. They are going to swap here though in a second, but interestingly enough, they swap in with Machamp, which I thought was pretty interesting. Either way though, they don't have too many options left, so I go ahead and I shield because I do want to have that Weather Ball going into the Swampert. This is going to most likely get rid of their last shield and then kind of give me some decent play moving forward. Because again, we still have our Shadow Swampert, which I know for a fact they don't have enough energy gain to launch 2 Hydro Cannons before I get to my first Hydro Cannon, which is essentially key because Hydro Cannon on Shadow Swampert does a ridiculous amount of damage. And the only reason I was able to get through this is because our Shadow Swampert went in with basically full HP. And as you can tell right there, that's all I needed to take down their Shadow Swampert. Next up, we got a Shadow Machamp lead. Alright, so in this situation, we're just counting the fast moves. Got a little bit of lag there, so kind of lost count. It's always the bad thing about lag, even if you're counting them in the right sense. The lag just completely messes things up. So I have no idea right now if they're going to be throwing a Rock Slide or a Cross Chop. They went for the Rock Slide there, so I'm glad I did shield. And at this point, we go for another Flame Charge. Not going to wait for them to throw another move. That would just be kind of reckless. Alright, so now we're sitting pretty comfortably. Unfortunately, not that comfortably. We have a Politoed to deal with. So I do want to keep Talonflame in the game here. And with Alolan Ninetales, I can definitely tank out a decent amount of hits. But because we had to shield that, I figured let's just go for the Brave Bird instead. Let's get rid of their last shield as well. And now, at this point, even though Talonflame is going to go down, I know that Alolan Ninetales is going to be able to tank out those Weather Balls. And we still have Swap. We didn't lose our swap, we didn't get locked in. We're sitting pretty comfortably, we can swap into Swampert if we need to, but thankfully it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So again, just farming down with the Alolan Ninetales here. Tried to go for that Weather Ball, unfortunately could not make it in time. Still totally okay. Weather Ball doesn't hit Alolan Ninetales that hard unless it's the Shadow version. And now we have a Nidoqueen coming in. So this is actually fantastic for us, guys. Fantastic. Perfectly lined up with the Weather Ball. I'm actually really glad I didn't hit that Shadow Politoed, or sorry, the regular Politoed there, which made it perfect, just coming in with that Nidoqueen at the end. We swap in with the Shadow Swampert, take care of the Nidoqueen. At this point, I'm pretty sure they just gave up. Yeah, they threw like one fast move and knew it was over. I mean, with the Alolan Ninetales and Shadow Swampert, this is definitely game. Alright, and GG. Definitely not the most perfect plays, but I am happy with it regardless. Either way, this is going to be a guaranteed rank up to 20. We just happened to get a 5-0, of course, which is always nice. That being said, though, the encounter rewards this season are not as great in my opinion compared to Season 7, so I have some mixed feelings about that, but whatever, doesn't really matter too much, guys. The 5-0 coming in clutch. Moving on over to our next battle, we have another Season 7 Legend to go up against. They go ahead and run the Shadow Hypno, which is always a tricky lead to deal with in my opinion. I feel like Hypno is still something that I haven't quite figured out. You can kind of go for the Brave Bird if you want, hope that they don't shield it. In this case, unfortunately, they did shield it, so I went for the swap into Alolan Ninetales, which may or may not have been the best move. Maybe Shadow Swampert could have been better. I don't really know for sure, guys. They ended up having Fire Punch too, which really kind of sucked because I feel like that was just perfect for me coming in with the Alolan Ninetales. So again, unfortunately, we did double shield right there, which really just kind of screwed us for the rest of the match. I did not feel too great about this after that. Then they come in with the Azumarill. At this point, we have no shields left. They have one shield. They definitely have their win condition already. I mean, we are essentially going to lose this. But of course, I don't give up just yet. I try to make the best of things, come in with the Shadow Swampert. Of course, they have a ton of energy gain though now, so they definitely have enough to take out my Shadow Swampert before I get to a Sludge Wave. They come in with the Scrafty though, so you can really see how had I maybe done this a little bit differently, right? I probably could have won this match. Just because we do have the counter to Scrafty, we definitely have viable options to beat out the Azumarill, and even with the Shadow Hypno, we probably could have taken it out. It really does come down to that first move with Talonflame, whether or not you go for that bait with the Flame Charge and go for that essential boost, or you just go for that immediate kill with the Brave Bird. Sometimes they don't shield it. Sometimes, like with the Hypno that I've gone up against, they don't shield that first hit. So honestly, it's a hit or miss, and I just feel like in that situation, I ended up missing. That being said, we have been running the battles for a little bit, so I kind of closed out the app, and that's usually a good thing to do every once in a while, guys. If you don't close out the app between your battles or between your sets, I would definitely recommend doing that. It can be a game changer just due to the fact that this game lags so much. That being said, let's move on over to battle number 7 of the video. So we have an Azumarill lead. Unfortunately, this is going to be a bad lead for us. Doesn't mean that we can't make it work, it just means it's going to be a little bit difficult. I'm just going to go for the kill shot here. This is usually one that they don't shield from what I've experienced so far. Now, normally what I'll do is I'll actually swap into Alolan Ninetales or Shadow Swampert. In this specific matchup, I actually ended up just sticking it out with Talonflame, getting some energy gain, and then going for a Flame Charge. I probably could have gone for another Brave Bird in hindsight, but hey, I just went for the Flame Charge instead. Still kind of worked out, and well, they kind of swapped in with Cresselia there before Azumarill went down, so they could have let Azumarill go down in my opinion. Probably would have been to their benefit had they done that. But in the situation, I was just counting the moves. Again, I definitely did not expect a Future Sight at this point. It was either going to be a Moonblast or a Grass Knot. I was kind of thinking Grass Knot, but they did get another charge move in there, sorry, fast move in there, so it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Really not that big of a deal. At this point, though, I knew that they could not get to another Grass Knot by the time I essentially farmed them down with Alolan Ninetales, which is good. Means that I didn't have to use that Weather Ball. Sitting pretty comfortably, they're going to come back in with their last Pokemon, which thankfully happened to be Altaria. I feel like that just worked out fantastic for me. Had it literally not been Altaria and been anything else, I don't think I would have had the same results for this match, in my opinion. But again, this is usually how you can sometimes win those bad leads. Really just depends on your plays moving forward. You never know what's in the back. You never know what's in the back. And I feel like in Great League, it's always a wild card sometimes. But again, guys, because people don't really anticipate the Charmers anymore, it kind of means that people are going to run things that are weak to Charm and not worry about it too much. So in that situation, I really messed up. I feel like I should have gone for the Hydro Cannon instead of trying to farm down on a Azumarill. That was my B, but either way it ended up working out because we did have the energy gain for the Talonflame, taking out the Altaria basically right at the end with our HP pretty much one hit away from dying. And again, they had Dragon Breath, so that could have gone really, really bad. Thankfully, we pulled it off, though, made it work. Again, the mistake there was easily not going for the Hydro Cannon over farming with Shadow Swampert. In all honesty, I think it might have even gone the other way had we not had it work out that way. Anyways, next matchup we got here, Empoleon lead. Then they swap into the Alolan Ninetales after we swap into the Shadow Swampert. So Empoleon would win the matchup against Talonflame, no doubt. So I'm glad I went for the swap with the Shadow Swampert here. Now, of course, we charge up going for the Sludge Wave. We're not actually going to throw the Sludge Wave. I just want to make them think that I'm going to throw the Sludge Wave. And the second one as well, we went for the Hydro Cannon, mainly because Hydro Cannon does so much damage with Shadow Swampert, in my opinion. Like, you could go for the Sludge Wave, but then you would be at an energy disadvantage, right? Because that was just like 2 more hits to get to another Hydro Cannon, which can definitely take it out. If we went for the Sludge Wave and they shielded that, could have been bad. Which in that case, they ended up shielding the second Hydro Cannon, so it kind of worked out there. Now again, we still have to deal with the Empoleon. This is kind of a tricky play moving forward because they could easily take out Talonflame. And Shadow Swampert doesn't have the energy gain available. So really, I'm kind of thinking about my options at this point. Of course, Alolan Ninetales is going to go down. We have to decide what's going to happen here. You guys are going to see they swapped perfectly into Mandibuzz. Again, this actually worked out to our betterment, in my opinion, because they decided to actually overfarm. And that's not really going to work out too well for them in the end, as you guys are going to see. So they overfarmed, and at this point, I knew that I could definitely tank out the hits with Talonflame. Again, practically full HP here. And what we can do moving forward is going to be a very, very safe approach because we could just get the energy gain that we needed to take down Empoleon. Again, 2 foul plays is not going to kill Talonflame, I knew that. And all we had to do was just go for a Brave Bird or Flame Charge. Now, I want to point something out here, guys. Flame Charge would have been the better move to go for instead of Brave Bird against Empoleon because Empoleon actually double resists flying type moves. At the time of that battle, I didn't realize it, but of course afterwards I kind of looked it up and I'm like, wow, I could have easily lost that match going with the Brave Bird instead of a Flame Charge. It takes neutral damage from fire type moves if I'm not mistaken, so definitely would have been the better play instead of going for the Brave Bird. And you guys can tell in between this match I'm kind of doing the Google search right now. Moving onward to battle number 9, we are going up against another Season 7 legend, totally expected at this ELO range, but they have an extra large Lickitung, which is not something that you see very often. This actually requires a decent amount of extra large candy, guys, so they grinded for it or they used a fit or whatever, I don't really know. Either way, we gotta deal with this though. So we go with the Flame Charge here. Essentially, I'm going for that attack boost. I figure regardless if I have to use my shields right now, it's gonna be the way to go. And ideally, you know, Power Whip is not gonna do too much damage, so it should be fine. And thankfully, we were actually able to sneak in another Incinerate before they actually threw their charge move, which is fantastic because that actually gave me a slight advantage moving forward. So of course they still have 2 shields. They're going to come back in with a really interesting Pokemon, one that you probably don't see that often, mainly because it's so hard to get candy on this thing. But this is a poison and dragon type Pokemon. So this is actually something that I wasn't used to going up against. I didn't know the typing that well, the dual typing specifically. I wasn't sure if Alolan Ninetales was going to be the optimal choice or if Shadow Swampert would have been the optimal choice. I figured it was a dragon type. Ice made the most sense, and that was actually the right play. This Pokemon usually goes with Aqua Tail and Outrage as its 2 moves. Gunk Shot is actually the more uncommon one, so thankfully that ended up working out for me, but I really had no idea going into it. I just totally gambled. And again, with the Medicham here, we definitely wanted to try and conserve that Alolan Ninetales. I figured it was probably going to go for a Psychic, which it absolutely did. Of course, we had enough for the Hydro Cannon, but I wanted to just get Swampert down to almost the KO range, because I didn't want them to farm more energy with their other Pokemon. And thankfully that was the right decision, because we were 2 hits away from the Weather Ball on Alolan Ninetales, which was going to get us the KO. So again, this was a really difficult matchup because they had 2 extra large Pokemon in their team, Medicham and Lickitung. But thankfully we ended up winning, so I was super hyped about that win, guys. Definitely one of my highlights for sure. And you guys are going to see the next match that we have, the final match of this video, is going to be arguably one of the most annoying teams to deal with in GO Battle League Great League. So the fact that I'm going to get through this, oh boy, you guys are going to love it. Going into our final match here, we're going to have a Sableye lead. I might add a Purified Sableye with the Best Buddy bonus. So Sableye is definitely one that could be quite problematic in the Purified version just because it does have access to Return. In this situation though, they're going to go with the Foul Play. They didn't really focus on the Return. Of course, Foul Play was the optimal choice against Talonflame. That being said though, we're just going to focus on the Flame Charge, try to get at least 2 off against it, and that should leave us in a pretty good position, either getting rid of its shields or, of course, taking it out. And we're going to see here that they decide to actually keep one of their shields and come in with the Bastiodon. So at this point I'm thinking, nice, this is perfect for us right now. So of course we come back in with the Shadow Swampert. We're gonna go for that Hydro Cannon, get a little bit more extra energy gain. Never a bad thing against Bastiodon. We totally have the advantage here. And I think they were actually gonna go for that swap, but they actually ended up getting caught to our Hydro Cannon at the worst time. Now, of course, they did shield on their Bastiodon, so they don't have any shields left against our Alolan Ninetales and our Weather Ball, which is fantastic, to be honest. That is honestly fantastic. So, of course, we throw the Weather Ball right there. Perfect. Coming in with the Bastiodon now. Really don't have anything to worry about, in my opinion, because we have the energy gain on the Shadow Swampert. Again, we also have a shield, so we're definitely sitting pretty comfortably here. And again, guys, this is one of the most frustrating matchups to deal with. And I will say right now, had it actually been a Bastiodon lead instead of a Sableye, we would have for sure lost this matchup. Guaranteed. Bastiodon leads are the only thing that really just completely destroy my team, because we lose swap advantage, and there isn't really anything we can do about it. Whether or not I let Talonflame go down, or, you know, we stick it out with another Pokemon, it's just a huge disadvantage. Anyways though, that was a 4-1 winning set, so pretty happy about that overall. This team has definitely been good to me, guys. Again, maybe this wasn't the best showcase. I feel like some of these matches were pretty good. It's really hard to commentate over 1.5 times speed though, so I will admit that maybe my commentary could have been a little bit better. Either way, I do hope that you guys did end up enjoying this video. As always, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button down below. Let me know how the season's going for you so far in Season 8. We're about to rotate into Ultra League and Ultra League Premier Cup, so let me know what you guys are going to be running for that. I'm actually looking into building a extra large Talonflame, which is a lot of Stardust. It's like 400,000 Stardust, but I do think it's going to give me a decent edge in that meta respectively. Anyways though, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Once again, hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you all real soon in the next one.